So what I want to do is I really want to do this deep dive into, Google Drive, finding Google Drive, how you can organize it, and really owning your own drive, the documents, and being able to find them. So many people, and this is what I hear from so many people, is I really want to use Google Drive. I really want to get a better understanding of how to use it. But every time I try and use it, I can't find anything. It's so unorganized. So I really want to do that deep dive into it. Now, before we really get started, I want to just walk through some of the basics. Now, in order to use Google Drive or any of Google apps, you have to have a Google account. What's a Google account? Your Gmail account, your workspace account. You can create a free Gmail account. That's not a problem. You would, if you've already got Google Drive, you would, or a Google account, you would sign in to your Google account. If you don't have one, notice here it says create account. So if you click create account, you can create a free Google account. No charge, it's a Gmail. Once you've signed in, you have the ability to access the apps. Now I'm showing you a little grid on the screen, and I'm going to show you where you find that grid on the screen when you're signed in. But here, when you click that grid, and it's in the upper right-hand corner, when you're in your Google account, you're going to get a drop-down. From that drop-down, you can access the tools that you want to use, the apps that Google has available. Now, you can go directly to search and also get into your Google Drive that way. But it's easiest if you're signed into your Google account, even if you're on Google Chrome, you can hit that grid, get a drop down, and go right to whether it's your Gmail, your photos, your Drive, your sheets, your docs, your slides, forms, so many different areas. Now, here's the grid on the screen. Notice that A in the upper right-hand corner. That A is the Google account you're signed into. Now, many of us have multiple Google accounts. I've got like 5 different Google accounts. So you always want to make sure which Google account you're signed into. Have one primary that you access all of your business tools from, business emails. And then you can invite your other Google accounts, your other Gmail accounts or workspace accounts to be a user on that Google Drive, or be a user. You can share that drive, or you can share documents to your other Google account. So you can access those documents that are important to you, regardless of the account that you're signed into. But if you click that grid, that's where you're going to get that drop down. And that's where you can access the Google tools and the Google apps that you want to use. Here is Drive. You would click Drive, and then it opens up another tab, and you can get to your Drive. Now here, what you're seeing on the screen is an empty Drive. There's nothing in it. There's no folders. Most of us, it's packed. And if it's not organized, it becomes difficult to find what you're looking for. So here, notice it's empty. And I apologize, I have to look a little to the left because I'm using a couple different screens. But over to the left, you'll notice the navigation on the left. The new is how you would add new documents or folders or create something new. And navigation is on the left. And I'm going to point all this out when we go live as well, so everybody can get a good feel for it. Here is an empty Drive. There's nothing in it. Most of us don't have that. So let's just talk for a minute about Google Drive. It is a free cloud-based digital drive where you can store projects, files, photos, plans. You can store all those documents that you need. And the other thing is it doesn't just have to be a Google product. You can upload, if you have a Microsoft a Word document or Excel spreadsheet or PowerPoint, you can upload it into Drive as well. So let's just take a few minutes to talk about how we store documents and why it's so important that you consider a cloud-based storage. So back in the day, we did physical storage, right? And this is just the evolution of storage. So we did physical storage where, you stored, you printed out, you kept it with you, you filed it away, you carried it somewhere. That was physical storage. Then we had computer or disk storage, and that took up a lot of your memory on your computer, but you were able to store it on that particular computer. Then we had external drive storage. So you might have had a thumbnail, you had an external hard drive. And if you were going to work at home, you might download something from work, take it home. If you wanted to share a file and you were going to work with somebody in an office space and you were working on it from home, you might have saved it to an external hard drive. In today's world, it's all about cloud storage. It's stored in the cloud. So I work on something on my laptop at home. I might be on a plane and I might be using my tablet, or I might pick up my phone and I want to work on something on my phone. It's cloud-based. So regardless of the device that I'm signed into, I can access my files. Here's the key. You got to be signed into the correct Google account in order to access those files within the cloud. Now, if I've got multiple Google accounts, I need to make sure on which one I'm utilizing and I'm signed into when I'm updating those files. And then on the other device, all I have to do is sign into that same Google account and I can access those files from anywhere. So what are the benefits of Google Drive? So first, and what I just explained was it's cloud-based, access files from anywhere. So, and that's what's really important. You can also share your files. So maybe I wanted to share that one slide with Clay and say, hey, Clay, update this with your most accurate information. I could share that through either my Drive or I could send it through email and Clay could actually update it in real time. I can see who has access to my files. I can see different versions. I can see the changes that Clay made. Clay makes a change. It is saved automatically, as I said, in real time. And again, I can access the files regardless of the device that I'm on. You can also edit your files if you're offline. So maybe you're on a plane and you don't want to buy internet access on the plane or on a train. So you can actually make a particular file available so that if you're offline, you can edit that. And then when you go online, it automatically updates and those files are edited. So let's just talk about the format of Google Drive before I go live. So notice here, now, number one, up at the top, let me go back. Up at the top, as I mentioned, that's the Google account right up here that you're signed into. And then we have the grid. Click that, you can access a lot of your tools. Here is how you search in the Drive. Now they've recently added, and you'll see this when I go live, some cards at the top, which is another way to search in the Drive as well. So there's multiple ways that you can search your Drive. Then if you want to add a new folder, a new document, a new file, create one from a template, you would click New, and you'll get a drop down. I'll show you that on another screen. And then the navigation here, and your file storage is in the middle. So quick access might be your most recently used or those files that you go into the most often. And then you've got files underneath. Now on this screen, you're not seeing any folders. When I show you my screen, you're going to see folders in the middle because I like to keep things organized. So if you have folders, folders are going to be underneath quick access, but above all of your files. Uploading to Google Drive is simple. You click that new button going back, you get the drop down. Here's the drop down. You can upload, and if you have stored on your desktop a whole folder, you can upload the whole folder. You can create a new folder. You can upload a file as well. And again, creating a new folder is really important about staying organized within your drive. And then you've got all the different types of tools or apps that are available. So you can create a new doc, sheet, slides, or there's more available. And we've got forms, so a variety of different things. So let's go live, because I think that really, I can show you some things, and I want to show you some stuff also within Gmail as well, just some couple tips. And here, this is Drive. So I recommend downloading Drive to your mobile device, to your tablet as well, so that you can access it at the click of a button. But you got to make sure that you're signed into the Google account that manages that Drive that you want. So let me switch. Let me see if I can switch. Hold on one second, everybody. Which screen I'm sharing? Nope, I don't want that. So let me stop sharing my screen for a second. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to share a different screen. So let's see if I can do that. Here we go. Okay. So you can see this screen. Everybody can see that, right? Let me just make sure. It's the beauty of the web. Let me just make that a little bit larger. Super. Okay. And let's just see if I have any quick questions that I could answer. Okay. So the information is secure. Google does, a tremendous job securing everybody, your Google Drive, your Gmail. And what I always recommend when people want to ask about security, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but we have Google support on the web. Put in Google support security for Drive, and you can get to the support pages that'll give you in-depth detail about the security of your files and folders within Drive. So let me go through. And this is a demo account. I am not sharing anything I can't with you. So notice I'm in my Gmail, and I want to point out, let me just get a couple things out of my screen here. So I want to point a couple things out for you. Number one, this is my Gmail. Notice here up at the top, let me move this over. Here's the Google account that I'm signed into. Notice Google account. If you have other Google accounts, you could click that drop down and you'll see your other Google accounts, and you can choose whichever one you want to get into. Here are the apps. Notice the drop down here. If I click Drive, another tab is going to open, and now we're in my Drive. But I want to go back to Gmail, and I want to just address a couple things within Gmail. And Susan or Clay, if you're managing the questions, if I've addressed it or you've answered it, if you could clear it out, that would be great. So I can make sure that I see the most recent. So now here's the gear. These are the settings. So we've got settings here. Now, this is the one thing I always hear from people. Randy, I can't find or organize my emails. They're coming over and they're all grouped together, and I can never find what I'm looking for. So here's what I want to point out. And this is something I always point out when I do this presentation. Notice here, email threading. This is, and if I put my cursor over that question, it says group emails of the same topic together. So what this does is takes multiple emails that come over, and if it thinks it's all part of that same topic, it groups it together. And you have to click into one in order to see them all. It's a nightmare. So I don't have that checked off. Now, by default, it's checked. It groups them by default. So what I always recommend is come in to the gear, get that drop down, hit see all settings. Now, when you come into all settings, as you scroll down, and these are all the ways that you can set up your Gmail. Scroll down and I'm under the general tab, excuse me. And notice how it says conversation view. It will default to on. Make sure it says off. That way, every email that comes over is separate, unless it's an email that you're replying off of. Then those emails all come within the same email thread. But I keep it to off because I don't want emails grouped together. I want to be able to see them all visually. The other thing I always like to point out is the undo send. This is really important, especially when you're using this for business, because a lot of times maybe you misspelled someone's name and you just realized it as you click that send button. Well, I just misspelled their name. I want to call it back. It defaults, I believe, to 10 seconds. I recommend you put it to 30 seconds because what that will allow you to do is recall that email that you just click send on for up to 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to actually recall it. So it is not leaving your inbox for 30 seconds. So maybe, maybe you're applying for a job and you want to attach your resume and you realize I just wrote a cover letter, I sent it, and I didn't attach my resume. You have 30 seconds to call that back. And I'm going to show you that in motion. The other thing I want to point out, and this is a pet peeve of mine, if you do put on a vacation reminder or responder, make sure you put an end date. I can't tell you how many times I've sent emails to people. They've sent me an email, I've responded, and then I get their vacation responder from like 6 months ago. So make sure you add an end date. And the other thing I want to point out is templates. It is disabled. It defaults to disabled, but maybe you send a very common email to many people all the time. You can actually create a template of that email so that all you have to do is pull that template up, plop in some of the personalization for that particular email, and send it off. You don't have to rewrite it every single time. And I'm going to show you that as well. So let's come over here. Now I'm just going to do a test so you can see, number one, the send. And also here's templates. Now I don't have a template saved, but if I did, number one, and let me just make a test template. Test email for today's event. Okay, now I've just created that. Okay, now if I come down here to these three dots, templates, I can save this as a template. I've just saved it as a new template, and this is demo, hit save, and now it's saved as a template. Now, if I come over here and I want to create another email, three dots, template, I misspelled demo. Typing that way doesn't make it easy. Now, notice if you have your signature, you want to remove your signature when you create that template, but now it's already set and I can send it. One last thing I'm going to show you on this, then we're going to move over to Drive, is if I send that, I want to just show you the recall. So this is a test. I don't do so well typing from the other side. Now watch in my lower left-hand side here, hit send. One other thing, you can also schedule your emails to go out. So maybe I work a lot at night. I'll type up emails and then I'll schedule it to actually send in the morning so that I'm not bothering somebody in the evening. Sometimes I send it in the evening, but a lot of times I'll set stuff up so that I can send it the following morning, and you can schedule that send. So right here, click schedule send, boom, you can choose when to send it. Now watch this, I'm going to send this. Notice down here, message send, I can undo and bring that message back so that if I forgot something, I can double check it. And that's, so coming here, hit send, you have up to 30 seconds to recall it. And that's it. And then the email comes over and you say it. Okay, let's get over to Drive because I really want to spend some time formatting. Starla. Okay, love that. Okay, perfect. See, these are all good tips. So let me just answer a couple quick questions if I can. We've answered Starla's. I work on Apple software, have Outlook. Okay, so you're using Google Docs. Am I web to Google taking over my entire? No, Google should not. Deborah, if you're using Outlook and yet you want to use Google Docs, Google's not going to take over your entire system. You can just share a link to those Google Docs within your Outlook emails. Another one, Mindy, I use Outlook for my email, but I do have Gmail. Okay. I just don't access it too often. However, both Outlook and Gmail show all of my, so you're actually probably pulling both in. So you have to go into your settings and so any info about using Outlook instead of Gmail. I don't know. I use Outlook just for all my junk mail, on my personal. I don't really know, but you've hit something that's pulling all of your emails in. So you really have to go into and take a look at that. How much storage do you get with Google Drive? So Rod, if you look on my screen here, and this is what I want to talk about now. So here's storage right here. You get up to 15 gigabytes of storage. If you want to get more storage, you can click get more storage and then you pay for it. It's not that expensive. I'm not going to go into it right now because I want to concentrate now on organizing the drive and utilizing the other file formats. But so get more storage right here. And as you use your drive, you'll see this bar starting to fill. Okay, so here's Google Drive. Let's talk about Drive for a second. So coming into Drive, notice I've got my suggested or quick access. So these are probably files, and this is a demo account, but files that I've most recently accessed. Then I have my folders here because I like to be organized. Everything should be in folders, guys. And then I have all my files. Many of these files are within those folders as well. Now, I want to come in, and for me, I'm very visual. I need to see it. So I like it this way. Somebody else might like a list. So coming up here, you can switch it over to a list, and it will organize it by different names as well as file. So here's the names. Notice these are all folders. You can tell they're folders because it's got that image of a folder. Down here are the different file formats that are in here as well. And notice within here, I've got PowerPoint. I have PDFs. I have Word document. So you can bring in, somebody said they work, they've got, Excel, PowerPoint. You can still upload them into your drive and work on that. And you can also save those documents as a Google format, file format. So if you want to take that Word document like I have here, I can actually save it. And I'll show you that in a minute as a Google Doc. But let's come in and just talk a little bit more about finding your files. So say you're like me and you've worked on hundreds of presentations and you only want to find the different slides, presentations. I can click, and I just put my cursor here, click, get a drop down, and I have the option to just find presentations. Anything that's a presentation, whether it's a PDF or a Google slide, is going to appear here. Now I've removed all the other noise, and I'm only now seeing all my presentations. Say I only want to see documents, whether they're Word docs or they're Google Docs. So this is a Google Doc. This is a Word doc. See the W at the top. I can also click this, these lines and do an advanced search. Maybe I only want to see files, docs that are owned by me. So then I could come in here and I can search. These are only owned by me. I've created them. Now let's come up here, X out of that. Another way to search, I mentioned before that there are new cards that are, or chips, I think they call them, that have been added. It's another way to search within your drive. So here you can search drive by these different drop downs as well. So it just gives you different options as well so that you can navigate your drive with ease. So coming back over to the left side, you'll notice the navigation. I can see anything that's been put into trash, anything that I've moved and said, this is spam, I don't want it. Star, I always recommend if you've got a really important file, star it, because then I know anything that's really important or the most recent thing I've got to do, a to-do, I'll put it into star. Anything I've starred, I can easily remove all those other files and documents and slides and folders and just see the most important things right in front of me. But here's my drive. Anything that's been shared with me as well. Any other computers that I might be syncing with or sharing documents with, which I don't have any on here for this particular one as well. So let's just talk about, and coming up here, here is if I want to do something new. So boom. Now, say I'm just starting out and I've got a lot of files in here and I want to create a folder. So here I would come over and click new folder. Notice how that comes up. Make sure you title it. So I would title it BBB, let's just say Maryland. Then I hit create. Notice right here, BBB Maryland. But if I say, all right, I've got a lot, I've got hundreds of folders. I want this to be one of my most important folders. I want to find it right away at the front when I look. So you got a couple different ways. See these three dots? Click that. I could star it. So if I star it, I now know if I come over to starred, it's going to come over. Or I could actually rename it, coming down here, rename it, and I can put a little asterisk here. Maybe I put 2, and I know that it'll be the first folder I see. So it's here, as well as starred. Now it's here. So it can be in multiple places as well as my files can be in multiple places. I may have one file that I need for BBB of Maryland, and I also need another, that same file in BBB demo, which I'm going to show you in a second. But let's keep rolling. So now new, if I want to upload something, whether it's an individual file or if I want to upload a folder, I can do that. I'm going to take a quick sip of water for 1 second. Then if I come over to docs, and I want to show you this because this is important. If I put my cursor over the little arrow, and you're going to see the same thing for docs and sheets and slides and forms, there's templates that are available. So if I want to create something blank, and this is, again, doc, sheets, slides, forms, I can create it from blank. If I want to create it from a template, then I come over and I can choose templates. So you can come over here, and we've got all different types of templates within Google Docs. So you can choose a template and you don't have to start from scratch. You would update that template as well. So let's just say, here's a board meeting. I choose that. Now I come over. Okay, so this is our annual board meeting. Now notice up here, meeting notes. First thing you should do is title it so you can find it. Oh, we're in June, right? June 13th meeting. Now I know it's titled. I can find it when I'm looking for it. Okay. Also, coming up here, I can see which folder of my drive do I want to save this in? Well, it's just in my general drive right now. Notice that it's just in my drive, but maybe I want to move it to a folder. I can put it in this drive. I can create a new folder, but maybe I want to move it over to Maryland's. Notice I've got something in here. Now I'm going to move this file over into that particular folder. When I come into this, this was just a template. Now I want to own it. I want to make it my own. So here, coming down, just like any other doc, and I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but you can come in and you can update. Here's the size. Here's the font style. Maybe I want to make it a different font size file, but maybe I only want it to be a particular size. So you can come over here and you can update any of this if you want. Make it with bullet points. So this is how you can own that particular template yourself. Now, the other thing I want to point out, so this is a doc. Now, maybe I need to write meeting notes. I want to show you something pretty cool. So here, coming over to tools, and maybe I don't feel like typing, right? I want to just speak about the meeting notes. Notice here, I've clicked in my document. I'm coming up to tools, click tools, voice typing. If I click voice typing, now I want to click to speak, right? So I got to click here. Notice this on the screen, upper left corner. Now I can have my meeting notes typed for me. I don't have to sit and type. Notice on the screen here, it is typing it. I can stop it at any time by clicking the microphone. So now you don't want to type. Maybe you're just thinking things through and you want to get from your head to the document. Click type, click voice right here, and you're able to do that. You can close that up. So how did I do that? I came into the document, I clicked on the document, up to tools, voice typing. Maybe I'm creating something for a blog and I need a word count. I can click that up where it says word count under tools, and I can get how many pages there are, how many words I've already typed, characters, and characters excluding spaces. So those are just some cool tools I want to show you as well. Now, I want to show you converting files. Now, I want to come back over one quick second, and then I'll look at some questions. So notice that was in a Word doc. I can do the same thing in a spreadsheet. I've got templates. And I've got all these different templates here as well. I can come back and I can do the same thing for slides. I have templates. So you're not creating from scratch, which is really important. Now I want to come back over and I want to just show you, here's a spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Notice the X up here. So I'm opening this up, and notice here, let me just move my toolbar up here. So notice here, this is open. Here is the file format. This is telling me where it might be on my drive. So it's just in my basic drive. I can move it to any of these different folders if I want. But what I want to do is, I've got it in Excel. I want it in Google Sheets. So how do I do that? under File, click File, and I can save it as a Google Sheet. Now, it's not deleting my Excel spreadsheet. What it's just doing is creating a Google Sheet for me. So I have a copy of it. Now I've got it in Sheets. Okay, let me just quickly take a couple of questions. Can the voice typing pick up other voices in my meeting or just my own? Well, if you're using, Mindy, a microphone, and unless your microphone is picking up background sounds or other people speaking, it shouldn't affect it. So what's the difference between Slides and PowerPoint? So Slides is from Google. PowerPoint is from Microsoft. Sometimes you'll have different fonts that are available. You know, Google has some fonts that aren't available, aren't universal, and Microsoft has some fonts that aren't universal either. If you've got a presentation in PowerPoint and you upload it into your Google Drive and then you save it in Google Slides, I always recommend making sure your formatting is correct. That is important. And same as if you've got a Google slide presentation and you want to download it into PowerPoint, you do have that ability. Just make sure again on its formatting. So a couple of questions real quick. So downloading, number one, see how you can download. So I come up to File, Download. I can download this, and this is in a Google Sheet, but I can download this so that I have it on my computer in an Excel spreadsheet. I can do it in a PDF as well, CSV. Same with, and here, let me go back over to, here is a Google Doc. If I want to download this Google Doc into a Word document, I can do that as well. I can do it as a PDF as well. So that's File, Download. Now, the other thing is, and I've already made this Drive available offline off of another Google account. So, but if you didn't do that, this would not be grayed out, and you could actually click this and allow then this file to be available offline. So maybe if you're traveling and you're on your laptop and you don't want to pay for internet, you can still upload this. Now, the other thing I want to, let me just see if there's a couple quick questions. How did I get to the voice? Tools, voice typing, right here. Okay, is the formatting of the document affected when you convert from Word to Docs or Excel to spreadsheet? Not always, but here's the thing. You're using a different file format. You're using a different, from Google to Microsoft, so developers. You always want to check it. Sometimes you do have to update some of those, as I mentioned, some of the fonts aren't there. Sometimes they do different formulas. Most time I have seen it convert okay, but I always recommend checking it. If you add update content in Sheets, would that automatically update the original Excel file in the Drive? No, because they're different files. So if you're working from a Google file, okay, and you're then want to share it to teammates because you're collaborating. Let me come over here and I want to make sure, just make sure on something, okay, that collaborating, you can share it. Now remember, everything you do within Drive is done in real time. So if I make a change and I don't have to hit save. So if I make a change and my power goes out, or my internet goes out, that change is done. It is in real time. So I don't have to hit save. Now, if I've downloaded it and it's on my desktop and I'm working on it, it's not automatically updated. You do have to hit save. But if you're working on it within the Drive, Everything's stored in the cloud. It's saved. I could be working on a document. Clay could be working on a document as well. So Clay, put your email into the chat. I'm going to share this with you. You can pop into this document. So if you can, put your email into the chat, Clay. And we'll see if this works, if Clay's able to. So I'm going to share this document real quick with Clay. Now, notice, I'm going to pop Clay's email address in here. I'm giving him access, full edit access to this. Or I could say, I only want Clay to be able to comment, or Clay can view, but he can't do anything. But I'm going to give him full edit access. And I'm going to say, can you edit for me? Now, it doesn't matter where we're working. I'm sending it to Clay. He's going to open up your email, Clay. And you should be able to get that email, and Clay's going to pop in. Now, notice at the top, guys, notice at the top right here, Clay is in this with me. Okay. Notice Clay is typing. I'm typing as well. And we can work on this document together at the same time. We can actually both be making updates at the same time. There could be multiple people. I could invite 5 people in to be updating this at the same time. Now, Clay, type something and leave it on so I can show everybody. And everybody, that is the share here. Okay. You literally type something. Okay. Now watch here. Everybody always says, well, how do I know? Let me just see, it didn't save yet. So let's just, if you could go to the next line. So notice up here, it's saving. It's saved to Drive as well. So now it's been saved. It's automatically being saved as well. A lot of times I hear from people and it says, well, how do I know the changes Clay made? So come over here, hit up at the top, and we can see the different version history. So I can see what Clay has done within this document. Now, I'm only showing you examples of docs, but I can share a document with Clay with a slide or a presentation or a form. I can do the same exact thing as well. So let me get out of this. So that's how, and remember, it's all saved in the cloud. It's all saved in real time. So as Clay is typing, it's saving it. Now, let's come over here. And if I want to, actually, let me come up here. So if I want to ask Clay, and there's multiple ways I can do this, but I can start typing and I could say, I don't have your email saved in there. So I can say, let me see if I can do this. Okay, so I'm asking Clay I'm going to assign a task to Clay, and I'm going to ask him to make an update. So I'm inviting Clay into this, and I'm asking Clay to take a look at this. And now it's been assigned to Clay. Let me edit something. I want to see something. Okay. So it's weird. It normally will give me a way to put a note in here. For some reason, it's not. So I don't know why. But now Clay's getting an email. I just actually canceled it out, Clay. So let me come over here, hit plus, and I'm going to add Clay again. I'm going to assign it to Clay, and he's going to get an email, and now he can come in and he can take a look at the document as well. I've already given him access, so he already has access. So there's multiple ways that you can share this with it. Cheryl, you're saying you don't see the tools. You might have to give access in settings to your microphone in order for that to be available. So go into your settings and you should be able to. And if you're having problems with this is what is really important, everybody, is open up another tab, Google support. How do I turn on voice typing for my Google Drive or my Google Sheets or my Google Slides? Can you protect information from access? Well, nobody can see any of my files, folders, anything until I give them access. Now, Clay has access to this one document. Clay does not have access to my Google Sheets. He does not have access to my folders, to my drive. He only has access to this particular document. That's it. I don't see a file folder for any of my drive. So you have to create a file folder. So you have to come up under new folder. You got to create a new folder and then it will appear as well. So let's just see. Okay, I don't see my emails. It's a separate folder from my Mac. So I'm not going to get into how your Mac might be set up separately. So here's one other thing I do want to point out in Gmail real quick. And this I always get a lot of questions on, is everything's all junked together. I get all my junk mail. I get everything. Notice at the top, I've got primary, promotions, social. Come to settings, see all, and inbox. I've got promotions and social separate. You got to set it up. It defaults to primary. So set up promotions and social separately. Come down here. Anytime you make a change to your settings, you got to click Save Changes. Mine's grayed out because I've already got that. If you don't hit Save Changes, it's not going to take effect. So that's under inbox. I'm under inbox, and you can set it up that way. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, just Google Docs. In Google Docs, multiple senders are editing. Recently, one document remains the same, and a second doc is created called. John, it must be in your settings that you've got it set up to automatically create an archive. So go into your settings and see if within your docs, you've got it automatically set to create archive. Can you put folders into, no worries, Roger. Yes, you can put folders into folders, not a problem. All you have to do is drag them. So maybe I've got this BBB folder, but I want to move that into my Maryland folder. So everything that's in, if I open this up, I've got something in here, but if I open that, or I see I have something now, I want to take this whole folder and I want to drag it over. All you're doing, I'm putting my cursor down, dragging it. Now it's not appearing here under all my folders, but if I open up Maryland, BBB Maryland, I've got that folder here. Okay. No, it's not called voice notes. So it's under tools, voice typing. And if you click even the help here, you can get to support. Okay. Can you load contact lists for all to have access? You can share contact list as well. Let me see. Can I create a couple of different email addresses to separate from personal? Yeah, you can create Laxman. Did you play lacrosse? My son was a lacrosse player, maybe. You're a lacrosse player. Yeah, you can create multiple Gmails. I mean, Gmail's free. You can create as many as you want, or you can create a workspace. So it's a business email if you have a domain name as well. So Dallas is asking, is there a good way to audit whose files are shared? maybe who your files are shared with. For example, if files were previously shared with interns and clients, and you want to lock everything down. So you could probably come into, and I'm not exactly sure where, I know that that is available. You've got to come in and see. So shared with me is anything that's been shared with me. So there's got to be a way to search your drive, okay, up here under advanced. So you can come into your drive and go specific person and type in that person's name or that email address, and any document that you've shared with them, any type, will appear and you can remove them. How do I delete files that all at once that are in the drive instead of deleting each file separately? Juliet, if you could retype that, I'm not following your question. And we only have time for like one more question, guys. Okay, if you save a doc in several different folders and you update the doc in one folder. So Kathy, this is going to be our last question, guys. So if you save a doc in several different folders and you update that doc in one folder, will it automatically be updated in all the folders? That's the beauty of Google Drive. Yep, it'll be updated because it's updated in real time. Remember, you're not actually updating that file within your drive, you're updating it in the cloud. So it's automatically updated in real time on that folder, which that folder, that same folder. So if I come here and let me show you on this real quick. This same folder could be saved in multiple folders. So, and if I make an update, right, it could be updated and it's automatically updated within all of those different folders that you've saved it in. So, and here's also a lot of the tools here. Here are settings, and maybe, that's calculate. Oh, I'm in, let me come over to settings real quick. So settings are over here in Drive. You can go settings, and this is where you can see some of your settings here as well. Notifications, apps. So you got to come in and you got to kind of play around with it as well. Language settings, search history as well. And again, this is the thing. I don't have every answer to every question. I always recommend, just like I do. And Clay, I'm going to bring you back on because we're going to close it out. So go over to Google Support, type in your question. I'm going to drag this over here. Type in your question, and Google Support can really, if you type it in, you'll be able to get the answer.